Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 12th of December 2024. It's currently like 10 a.m. It's Thursday, obviously, right? 10 a.m. on Thursday morning on the West Coast and maybe 1 p.m. approx in Sydney. So, first of all, remember, there's never financial advice, not financial advice. There's simply a video blog on how one trader sees market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions, right? So, look, quickly, I will be back next week too, my last one before Christmas. I'm just going to check out for a few weeks and just hammer the kids. And, it's like so bloody hot in Perth right now. I just want to check out and lie by the pool for, a while. Still going to be looking at the market, but, just trying to check out a bit because the volume really drops off and, usually the big moves drop off for a while and it's just a good time to reset and just plan for the next year. And I'm going to get into that a bit later, but just looking at the overall market, right? Like, I just wanted to show that obviously we based here from the end of COVID, right? We took out these highs, and then we've had this little uptrend, right? And so it's easy to think, oh shit, maybe the good times are behind us, but this is a decent base, and I'm open-minded to this being relatively early stages in this bull market, right? Like if we go back and study, probably, in my opinion, the best bull market we've ever had was this period after the tech boom ended, and then we churned sideways, and then bang, right? This mining boom happened in Aussie, and it was insane good, and it lasted from what was this, like mid '03 to, late '07, GFC, late '07, right? And my point is that bull markets can last 3-4 years, easy as, right? Bear markets, if you look back through history, they tend to last 18 months to 2.5 years. Very, very, very accurately. They sometimes last 3 years, the bad ones. And I talked about this during, that bear market after COVID, and when we were getting into the second year of it, I was crapping on about how, be careful, watch for turnarounds, right? And so we had that turnaround, and the point of this discussion is that I don't know what's going to happen in 225. No one does, but all the signs at the moment are pointing to a bull market that's not overdone yet, right? And that I'm open-minded to it having a bit more in it, and so I'm going to keep taking signals until I get exit signals, and I'll talk about those exit signals a bit later, right? So quickly, just going through some stocks that I've been in, because I've had a really good year. Okay, my account's up a lot, and I just don't want to stuff anything up before Chrissy. I just want to, I'm protecting what I've made. RUL, I got out for a small win yesterday just because we had one test of of this resistance turn support, and then bang, but then we had another test. I was like, bugger that, I'm out. All right, small win on. Small loss on CDA, right? Because we had this down day here, which I stuck in, and the next day kind of was up a bit, and I bailed, right? But I did take a small loss on that. I just protecting my account, right? I understand this thing might drift up now, but it's just all about risk management and protecting my account because I've had a good year, and I don't want to transfer my money from my account to someone else's account. I want to keep it in my account, right? And that's where my head's at. It's just do everything I can to keep the cash in my account. I want to stay in positions where the probability is very, very good that more money is going to go into my account, and I want to get the hell out of anything where there's a risk of giving money back, okay? And so that's that. What was the other one, right? Car, right? Okay, I had to give a lot of money back on car. I took half off up here, as I talked about, which I got incredibly lucky with. And then the other half, I bailed out yesterday for a small win. Right? And that's how it goes, right? I paid the price to have a crack at riding this thing heaps higher. It's just the way things work, I could have sold the whole thing up here, and then if it had gone up another 30%, I would have felt like a dumbass, and so I paid a little bit of price, for the chance of a bigger move, and that's just what happens, right? This is the market, and everything's risky, and I had to give a big back, but shit happens, right? And what's another one? Like Shop, still sailing high. I mean, holy shit, these big revenue, high growth stocks in the American markets are just amazing. Apple still going well. I'm still in Amazon, by the way, the one I was talking a lot about a few months back. And this is really leading. Holy shit, from this, for those who listen every week, from this base break here, I'm just hanging in. Anyway, and the other one's Kogan, okay? And I talked about Kogan like maybe a week or 2 or 3 ago, I forget, but I was talking about it back here too, right? When it was breaking out, and I was saying that this is risky as shit, okay? Because the moving average is still kind of sloping down, it's banging up against it, and it just, this pattern where it fakes above the 200 moving average and then fails is so common. And it's just like, part of me having discipline is by respecting my moving averages, because moving averages to me are like, kind of like my Bible, and I think a lot of people think it's bullshit, but I promise you, without my moving averages, I would not do as well. All right? It's like, I've talked about this before, but this is like a cake that's half baked. It's all mushy and just disgusting, and you take it out of the oven and you try and serve it to people, and they're just like, mate, what are you doing? This tastes like shit. Do you know what I mean? That's what this is here, right? It's just this loose base that hasn't tightened up long enough. The moving averages are still sloping down, and it's not ready. It's not cooked yet, right? Whereas now, it came around, I talked about this last week, but it came around, and on the forum, but it came around and gave a tighter base, tighten up, and look at all the moving averages. They're down here, they're converging, bang, it's ready, all right? That cake's been cooked, and boom, all right? There's a very, very good chance this thing's gonna have a big uptrend, and I'm in it now, okay? And that's that's why I swear by the moving averages. All the classic books, Stan Weinstein's book, William O'Neill's book, read them over Chrissy, guys, because like they all talk about this. I'm not making this shit up, I didn't invent it. I promise you it works. If you have the discipline. The problem is that 9 out of 10 traders, they will just take this because they get FOMO. Whereas I give zero shits about missing trades. If that exploded, I'd just leave it. I wouldn't care, because I know that you chuck me the next 100 trades. If I'm disciplined and only take the ones that set up, I'm going to dominate. My account will dominate anyone else's account that takes this undisciplined crap, right? And it's just a reality, and I would be willing to, bet someone heavily on that, right? And what else is there to talk about? Peter sent me this. Good setup, man. Definitely like this setup more than some of the things in downtrends you sent me, but no, just jokes, man. You send me a lot of good stuff, but yeah, this has got classic A+ written all over it for me, and big base. I wish it was more liquid. I love today how it didn't break out, how it's down here on small volume, and so on a weekly chart that looks awesome, hey? So VGL is something I'm keen on, and in 225, I'm going to do more of the same. It's going to continue to take huge bases, and we get a lot of questions. Like what are your favorite scans? I'm like, I talked about this like a lot, but just the Frank's pattern on weekly data, looking for big bases, is just a godsend, right? I do that every week. Next gen has come up like in that, like there's endless bases that come up. Like you very, very rarely miss a base when you're doing that scan regularly, and I just. There's probably a federal election next year. Maybe I don't give a shit who wins. This is not a political chat, but let's say hypothetically Dutton pulls off a Trump and wins, right? His views on uranium are pretty obvious, and so it's like Trump and the Tesla moves and the crypto moves, and it's just like, I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen, but just. If I can sync that with huge bases and perfection with blue sky above it, I will. I'll have a crack. And so this is basing here. Let's see if it forms a nice tight right hand handle. If it does, then I'll be in that on a break. And there's a bunch of others, like Sol came up in that as well. Where is it? And this is a slow mover, isn't it? But shit, there it is. Big base on Sol, and just churning. I'm not saying this is going to make anyone rich because it's a slow moving, but for those with larger accounts or self-managed super funds, that is just basing away. And the other goal for 225 for me, and this is my goal every year, but is to just only really stick to the leaders, right? It's about identifying the leaders. The leader this year, hands down, was PME. I traded PMEs, everyone knows, and I sold too early, right, as I've been honest about. And And the trick for me, I've probably done a bit better in America writing the leaders, right? Like the Shopify and the Apples and the Nvidias and all that stuff, right? If we go back over the year, and the goal to me is just to find the leaders of next year and ride them, right? And the leaders always start with huge bases, and that's why I do in the Frank Scanner weekly data and this Darvis Scanner weekly data. Just click the weekly button and do it every week. I promise you're gonna find the big bases. Put them in watch lists, and then let's say next year I have 5 huge bases setting up. Okay, 3 of them have kind of sideways earnings, a bit like the SSG maybe with the earnings growth that's not through the roof, and then 2 of them have extraordinary revenue growth and earnings growth and profit growth. And so it's clear my decision. I'm going to try and go into the leaders that are not just having huge big bases, but also massive revenue growth, okay, and profit growth. And they're usually always the leaders. I'm just going to focus on the best companies with leading profit growth and all that shit. I'm just going to try and stay away from the laggards. Just kind of going to keep my penny stock trading to a minimum. Because I think the easiest money in the market is just made following leaders, right? And it's just, everyone wants to get rich quick trading some 2-cent piece of shit. I can tell you now, like, not many people actually get rich doing that, all right? It's following the big expensive names. The other thing, before I piss off, is do yourself a favor. If you've never read this book, if you hate reading, it's cool, get the Audible version and listen to it, right? I've listened to this book, I don't know how many times. Probably 50 times I've read it or listened to it. I learn something new each time. It is the Bible for riding, winning growth stocks and cancelling, all right? And so just do yourself a favor over Chrissy, right? Just chuck the charts away for a bit, give yourself a break, chill out, and listen to this book, and it's going to educate, if you haven't, it's going to educate you greatly, right? It's really, really going to help you better than a lot of other things, and then after that, it's up to you, you're just pro traders here to help you find the big bases and the big setups, but actually making money is 100% in your hands. You need the discipline to stick with these winners. You need the discipline to cut the losers quickly. Without that discipline and without that desire to make money and do well for yourself, then you're gonna end up failing. And so it's all in your hands, guys. The education's here for you, the software's here for you. It's up to you to grab it and just go for it. I'll be back next week for one more chat for Chrissy. Then I might check out for 2 weeks and just hang by the pool with the kids and do sweet F4, right? And just chill out. Take care, everyone. Chat next week. Bye.